But before we get the action going, let's just look at a few highlights from the first match. And there we are now, back live. And at the top of the screen, Liu Shiwen, #1 in the world, 23 years of age. And her opponent in blue at the bottom of the screen, certainly on the right of the screen, bottom right, Ri Myung-sun, 22 years of age. And she's the Korea DPR player who has a ranking. She's ranked at number 23, and she is a defensive player. She drops away from the table and uses backspin, but she has this wonderful ability to turn defense into attack. She played very well in the match against the Ukraine, the last 16 round. She got the Korea DPR team off to a great start, winning the first match against Margarita Pesotska, beating her fairly convincingly.
Her opponent from China, Liu Shiwen, 23 years old, as you say, world-ranked #1. And at 23 years, she's already won 8 World Tour tournaments. That is just a fantastic feat. Runner-up in the World Championships, as you can see. Semi-finalist twice in the World Championships. She's won the World Cup 3 times out of 3 attempts, which no other player in the world has ever done. She's the only one, I would say she's the joker among the Chinese team. She's the only one that not always performs at 100%. She has had some ups and downs, very slightly, but perceivable. But when she's at full power, I would say, at least to my point of view, she's the strongest in the lineup of the Chinese, and certainly she's the strongest against defense. I've never seen her lose a match against a defender, never seen her drop a game even. So let's see what Ri Myung-sun will have to throw at her. It's a best of 5. First serve to Liu Shiwen.
First point to Korea DPR. Forehand topspin from Liu Shiwen. Hits the net cord, flies off the table. The right idea from Ri. She has to take the opportunity to attack whenever it's there. Backspin, cutting under the ball. I have to say, one of the biggest shocks in recent table tennis history at this level was in 2010 in Moscow. The women's team final, China against Singapore. Shi Hao, the former international player, was the women's coach. And he controversially selected 2 young kids, put them in the team. They didn't perform as well as he would have liked, and Singapore pulled off the biggest shock for many, many years, beating China. Interestingly enough, when you look back, who were the 2 kids that he put into that game? A young lady called Liu Shiwen, who is now #1 in the world, and the other young lady was called Ding Ning, who is now #2 in the world. So once again, even though it backfired on the day, you invest in talent, you give them a chance, you put them under pressure, and in this case, what a massive delivery from the 2 girls, or the 2 women, I should say, 1 and 2 in the world. And from a coaching point of view, it just shows you have to be brave, give people a chance.
Adding to that, final of 2010 was also probably the best performance of her life for the Singaporean Feng Tianwei, who beat, incidentally, both Liu Shiwen and Ding Ning in that finals match. But you're absolutely right. Look how they have grown since then. It was only 4 years. But so far, I have to say, Liu Shiwen with a bit of starting problems here. 5-2 for Lee Myung-sun.
Powerful forehand topspin, drilled into the forehand of Rhee. When they're just throwing the ball up a fraction higher than she has done previously, took the pace off the ball, and the variation paid dividends. 4-5.
Let's 4-5.
Chinese should be feeling comfortable playing against defense. Wu Yang, another excellent player, actually sitting on the bench here, a defensive player. So they all know how to play against defense, and it seems that finally Liu Shiwen has settled in here, equalizes to 5-4.
Liu Shiwen going for the smash. Just didn't quite get the racket over the ball sufficiently. Lifted it too much. That's the end of the table. So, Lee Myung-sun, 22 years old, currently ranked 23 in the world. She can't play anybody in the world higher ranked than Liu Shiwen. And what a shot! An absolute bullet down the line. Can she keep it going, Sebastian?
She's certainly on a good way here. Topspin from Liu Shiwen, not with that much power. Lee Myung-sun immediately sensing it, stepping towards the table, firing in that forehand topspin, and it worked out perfectly.
Very good defending again from Rhee. Liu Shiwen having to work very, very hard for every point. I think Rhee has to try and break things up by attacking.
Absolutely, it has worked for her. Quite uncommon, I have to say, for Liu Shiwen to miss these kinds of shots. Bit of a timing issue here. Maybe she's surprised by the high bounce.
A pushing error from the defender. It's a rare sight. One that Liu Shiwen will be very pleased with. And so now Rhee with her second serve in this sequence of two.
That was a crucial point, absolutely, for Liu Shiwen. She was assisted by the net there. Doesn't count in the end, though. We can see some excellent shopping from Lee Myung-sun. Slowing the ball down. The effect of the pimples rubber that she is using is that the topspin she gets, she brings back to the table as backspin, making it very difficult to even lift over the net. So over time, a match can get quite exhausting for the attacking player. As she, in this case, is working against her own topspin.
9, 8.
I think Rhee's decided, I'm going to sit back, I'm going to use my stonewall defense, and I'm going to wait for the error from Liu Shiwen. But unfortunately, the danger of that tactic is Liu Shiwen gets into a rhythm against the backspin and doesn't make very many mistakes. I still think Rhee has to attack more than she has done, certainly over the last 4 points. Wow.
8, 10.
No errors from Liu Shiwen. She's played herself into the game. She's reading the spin. She's found her range. And I really do feel that Rhee has to try and break that rhythm, break that consistency. And the only way she can do that is to attack. Nothing crazy, but whenever there's a 50-50 ball there, have a go. The backhand topspin, very spinny from Liu Shiwen, and she takes the first game after a battle, 11 points to 8.
Time. Second game. DPR Korea to serve. Level.
Here we go into the second game, ladies and gentlemen. Lee Myung-sun, that is. Played a fantastic first half of the first game until her opponent Liu Shiwen settled in. And here she goes again, scoring directly with the topspin attack. And as you said in the last game, Dawn, absolutely, why not go for it? Why not mix things up here? She has nothing to lose at this stage here. Her opponent is the huge favorite, so the pressure really is on Liu Shiwen.
World-class defensive play. 15, 20 shots there from Liu Shiwen to eventually win the point.
One.
2-1, China lead.
Very clever serve.
3.
Very difficult to see for her opponent as well. Liu Shiwen was going for the long serve. Of course, there's no spin on the ball. That makes it all the more difficult for the defending player to chop it back with a lot of spin. Lee Myung-sun relies on the spin that she gets from her opponent. Very difficult to create spin yourself with the pimples rubber.
It's a great backhand, took it early, played it out wide on the angle.
That is her trademark shot. Incredible acceleration on the backhand topspin, hit early on the bounce. Very few players in the world that could do that on that level. One is Li Xiaoxia, by the way.
4-2.
Just over hitting the backhand topspin. But the world's #1, Liu Shiwen, leading 4-2. Strong topspin into the body of Ri. 5-2.
Play, please.
What an angle. A very well constructed point until eventually she creates this angle. And look at that. Quite simply, they don't come back. Interesting to watch the service of Ri. She's the high toss, she'll throw the ball up high, but it's with the backhand. And indeed, it's a trend by quite a few of the defensive players.
Exactly. We've seen that from Isabel Lee of Singapore or from So Yewon from South Korea as well.
Seo, of course, is ranked #8 in the world.
3-6.
Coming more into fashion, that kind of serve. Enables the player to switch it up to sometimes serve with topspin, especially So Yewon is known to have quite some serve variations. Just incredible to watch, really. As much as she has struggled in the first stage of the first game, she's much more confident now. Look at that. Keeping the racket over the table at all times, never letting it drop. Once you're in the attack, that's something to observe. Not much vertical motions in the topspin, just fairly at one level and going from back to the front. Flawless technique
7-3
from Liu Shiwen. And it's 7-3.
So, as you said at the beginning, Sebastian, one of the best against defense. Struggled a little bit by her standards in the first game, but now it looks as though that early, possibly rustiness, a little rusty against defense for a few points. She's now got that out of her system.
Almost came back to the table. I didn't expect that. Neither did Liu Shiwen. Let's see another youngster here, Chen Meng. He's already won, I believe, 4 World Tour tournaments with just 20 years old, just recently turned 20 actually. Has won a first World Tour tournament, that was the Qatar Open in 2012 at 16 years of age. 6 game points to Liu Shiwen.
And there it is. The first time of asking a rocket topspin down the line into the backhand of Ri. And China now lead by 1 match to 0 and by 2 games to 0 in the second match. DPR now with their backs against the wall. Certainly in this second match, Ri Myung-san is defending well. But unfortunately for her, she's up against arguably one of the best in the world against defense. Liu Shiwen, but that was good. She attacked down the line. And first point to Korea DPR.
Play, please.
The ball was very deep for the drop shot. Push off the end of the table.
Point tying the score early, not letting the opponent take off.
Moving the ball around from one angle to the other, diagonal line. And Liu Shiwen now leads by 3 points to 2. Korea DPR supporters still doing their best to lift Kim, to lift Ri, I should say. Kim actually comes on and plays the third contest here, the third match. Kim Yong, we'll see her shortly. Well played, Ri Myung-sun.
That forehand lift far out. You can see that here, great angle, good reaction from Liu Shiwen actually, but she was right back at the middle of the table. Always crucial for the defending player to get into neutral stance as fast as possible after the touch. Go back to the middle of the table because you will have to do a lot of running around.
3-4.
Good topspin from Liu Shiwen, kept it deep on Ri's side of the table. And the Korea DPR coach calls timeout as Liu Shiwen takes a 4-3 lead.
I like how Kong Ling-hui is starting to coach well before Liu Shiwen even arrives at the coaching corner. Seems to be a lot to discuss there.
There we have Yong-sun.
오른쪽 수술 사우디잖아요.
It's interesting how he's get a little confused with the actual name of the country. Commentated during the Olympics when it was the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Here we refer to them as Korea DPR, and yet on the back of Kim, PRK, People's Republic Korea. So from a commentary point of view, a little bit tough to get it right. I hope we're not causing anybody any problems
3-4.
with our title, but Korea DPR is the name that we're using. Well played. Stonewall defense at the moment. Very difficult for Liu Shiwen to penetrate, to find a chink in the defense.
Tense stage, that's why we see positive body language and of course support throughout the Chinese bench. Clenching her fists, Liu Shiwen, she knows this is important. Take the lead now, do not let go. Oftentimes we see players with a 2-0 lead tend to let loose a bit. There's a high chance of them losing the third game after this huge lead. And she knows that she cannot drag on this match for all too long, as time usually works for the defending player. The longer the match, the better they settle in usually.
Oh, great reaction from Liu Shiwen. She made that block on the move. Let's just have a look at that again. There she is, stretching across, moving as she hit the ball, but she managed to maintain control. That must be very frustrating for Ri Myong-sun. Any other player in the world, that would have been a point for her, but not against Liu Shiwen.
Exactly, and it's some negative feedback for her. She was committed to this attack. It was the right idea to attack once in a while. Too bad if it doesn't work out.
7-5.
And she keeps on fighting. You have to grant her that. All the players from Korea DPR display excellent fighting spirit in this competition. Men's and women's.
This flies off her bat into her face, I think.
Yeah.
And that's where it can actually hurt, if it catches you in the eye. It is only a very light projectile, a table tennis ball. A bit bigger, actually. They're now, I think, 40 millimeters instead of...
9.
But nevertheless, I think the only place they can do any damage is in the eye, and that's exactly where that one went.
Happened to most of table tennis players, I would assume. Getting hit in the open eye with the ball, since it's so fast.
The chop there from Ri was mid-table. Makes it a lot easier to smash on the angle. You can see there it's fairly short over the net. And there's the smash from the